Welcome to Glove Talk, your weekly news of boxing. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. With that said, let's get in the news. Okay, we finally got some details about this Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell fight. I'm going to talk about those, and then I'm going to give you my general opinion about this fight. So what do we know about this fight is that it's going to be on December 5th, which is the same day as the Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia fight, which, by the way, if you want my thoughts and opinions on that fight, as well as the details for that fight, I'll put a card right up here. You can check out that video. Very interesting fight. And the other detail we know about this fight so far is that it's going to be on DAZN. We don't know undercard and we don't know location. I imagine it's going to be in Las Vegas because I do not see Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell in the UK. Sorry for you UK fan base. I'm sure you guys will get someone that will pick this fight up though, and you'll probably get it for free. So anyways, now let's move into opinions. Let me know what you guys think about this fight and your opinion about this fight down in the comments below, because this is a very hotly contested fight and a lot of people have a lot of opinions and very strong opinions about this fight. So let's first start with Luke Campbell and I'll give you my thoughts on him. If you're a Luke Campbell fan, or if you think he's going to win this fight, you have good reason to think that way, and that is because of two fights Luke Campbell's had. One is Jorge Linares, a 4-weight world champion, and Lomachenko, who's a 3-weight world champion and arguably pound for pound best. So with both those fights, we saw Luke Campbell really hold his own and do well and have moments in each one of those fights. In particular, the Linares fight's very interesting because Linares is similar size to Ryan Garcia and has quick hands like Ryan Garcia. And we were able to see Luke to find ways and do things that benefited him in that fight, which was a tough fight for him, but he held his own. The other positive for Luke Campbell that we can point out with both those fights is that even when he's not having his way, he's mentally very tough. He doesn't crumble under pressure. And that's a big thing in boxing, especially as you evolve as a fighter. So that's a huge plus for him. The big thing for me in terms of Luke's skills that I'd like to point out is I really like the way he controls distance. His jab is excellent in my opinion. He always knows where he's in the ring, but he also he keeps tabs always at the distance of his opponent. The way he kind of reaches out there and he kind of moves his hand up and down. These are little things that make a big difference, especially when you're fighting a guy who's very quick with his hands like Ryan Garcia. So now let's talk about Ryan Garcia, because I think that's a more interesting conversation possibly. And it's a more polarizing conversation to be had, because really there's two camps when it comes to Ryan Garcia. There's the one camp that love Ryan Garcia and think he's going to destroy Luke Campbell. I have seen absurd predictions from Ryan Garcia fans about this fight against Luke Campbell, and I mean absurd predictions. Now, I don't know if they haven't seen Luke Campbell fight before, if they know who he even is, but they're ultimately true believers in Ryan Garcia's speed, power, and everything about this kid, and they absolutely love him. So there's that side, and then there's the very much, I don't want to say hater, but people that don't believe in Ryan Garcia and think that he's a lot of hype. Part of that is he's asked for big purses, even though he's not fighting anyone that's a real big name, and he doesn't have any big names on his resume. He doesn't even have a former world champion on his resume. So there's that side, and then there's also the fact that, well, there's a lot of noise in Ryan Garcia's life outside of the ring. The whole Instagram thing and YouTube and all this other stuff. And a lot of people that are boxing fans don't like that. They don't like their fighter to be surrounded by noise outside of the ring. And that could be a big problem for young fighters. It absolutely can. So now let's look a little bit deeper into Ryan's skills and kind of my thoughts on Ryan. I've been critical of Ryan in the past, and mostly when it comes to money and what he's asking and just fights not being done because of that. Fights that I thought were fairly solid fights, like the Jorge Linares fight, which had some issues with travel restrictions as well, which didn't help, but still there was some issues. He's had some issues with purse and everything like that, which killed fights that I thought would have been good fights for him. That aside, what I like about Ryan Garcia is you have to bring up his hand speed. His hand speed's phenomenal. It is. It just is. His power when he sits on his shots and gives up a little bit of that hand speed is really solid as well. How his power transfers when he gets older could be very interesting. If he gets stronger and gets more power with the way his hand speed is, it could be pretty scary, and I think he could be a very deadly fighter if he gets that kind of like real man strength when he gets older. The big thing with Ryan Garcia is he has one weapon in particular that if I'm Luke Campbell, I'm staying away from, and that's that lead left of his. He has a really solid weapon there. I mean, his right hand's not bad either, but I mean, that quick lead left can really put guys to sleep. And if I'm Luke Campbell, I'm just trying to stay away from that and really control that distance with Ryan Garcia. Now let's talk about some of the negatives with Ryan Garcia. The one time Ryan Garcia has been tested in his entire career, in that fight, he wasn't getting his way and he didn't really make adjustments. He didn't really make adjustments. And that was against Carlos Morales, if I'm not mistaken. It just seemed like Ryan was having a lot of issues with him, and Morales was able to kind of bully him a little bit, and you just didn't see Ryan make adjustments. And that's something I'd kind of point to see if he's maybe evolved. But let's talk about that evolution with Ryan. And that really is, he's got a new trainer, and it's not his dad anymore. It's Eddie Reynoso. So he's got an amazing trainer, a big step up in my opinion. No offense to his dad or anything, but Eddie Reynoso is going to instill confidence in any young fighter. So if he gets in that moment, he's going to have a corner that he can trust. If he gets hurt, if he gets knocked down, if his confidence wavers at all, he's got a unbelievable corner and trainer to give him confidence and give him instructions that are going to help, get him back into the fight. That's a big deal. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, and I think it's something that's really a big bonus for Ryan going into this fight. You can be as confident as you want, but once you get in that ring, you start getting hit. You can see that confidence sometimes from young fighters start to waver, and going to a corner and being able to trust your corner like Ryan Garcia can is a huge deal, and I think is a really good thing for him. I'll go into kind of my general thoughts in terms of prediction wise now on this fight. I'm going to probably favor Luke Campbell in this fight, and I'm going to favor him to win by points. I think he's going to win by decision. The reason I say that is that like I spoke to earlier, I like the way he controls distance, and that's a big thing I think in this fight, because you can have all the hand speed you want, but if you can't close that distance, it just doesn't mean anything. And although Ryan's not really giving up much for reach, I think he's only giving up maybe like 1 inch. Still, I don't feel as though he has that level of jab and kind of control of the ring that Luke Campbell has. I really think that Luke Campbell's going to be on the back foot in this fight. I think he's going to utilize the ring, the entire ring, and he's just going to go around the ring and just kind of jab and kind of pick apart Ryan here and there. I think Ryan's going to have moments where he does really well and build some of that confidence back. But I ultimately think Ryan's going to get frustrated and not be able to do the one thing that sometimes young fighters just don't do, and that's cut off the ring effectively. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to chase Luke Campbell around the ring, and Luke Campbell's going to be able to find the spots to be effective, and I think he's going to win by points. That's my general opinion about this. That's my general thoughts for this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How do you guys have it? Who do you have winning? All that good stuff. And with that said, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.